Hi, my name is Nick Denny. In this video we're going to cover the API edit pages and the alerts and settings you have available to you. So if you edit an API call, you see the API call edit page, which we covered in a different video. We also have a preview page. This shows you what the request looks like. The next tab is the Schedule tab. This allows you to schedule your API call by selecting it here and pressing Add, and remove it from a schedule by pressing Delete. You can also create a new schedule with the Add Schedule button. We have a separate video about schedules. The next tab is the Workflows tab. This lets you create a workflow using this API call or lists all the workflows that your API call may be using. This is useful when navigating between API calls because often you don't want to schedule your API call as an API and also as a workflow. The next tab is the Meta tab. This lets you add a description just for your reference and also tags, which helps you organize the APIs. The Conditions tab we've covered in the API call edit video. This lets you set conditions and also lets you set variables. And lastly, alerts and webhooks. When an API call runs, once we've run the conditions and we have a final answer whether it's a pass, warning or fail, you can add a webhook. You can give it a name, and then you can choose what type of webhook it is. A generic webhook is a post message using a JSON format that we use, but you also have workflow, save the north token, email, and various other options here as different types. Depending on what you select, changes the options below. The next option is important. You have to enable the webhook so it's actually used, and choose what triggers this webhook. So it could be on all results, so pass, slow, warning and fail, or it could be turn off pass so you only get alerted to slow, warning and fails. For generic, we need a URL to call to send our JSON, and we have a username and password if it's got using basic auth. All the webhooks have only alert when the API call fails this many times. This means that if your API call is failing quite frequently and you're using, say, email, you don't get a lot of spam, and you could say, oh, only alert me to this if the API call has failed 5 times in a row. This is for alerts and webhooks relating to an individual API call. If you want to change it to the project level, so affecting all the API calls in the project, there's the alerts and webhooks option in the sidebar here. These give you the same options and the same plugins are available to you. The Latency SLA is a special type of condition that applies to all the API calls, and it only looks at the timing. So you can choose whether you want to make all your API calls, if they're greater than 90 seconds, an SLA error, or you could look at, say, time to first byte or something like that and change what counts as a SLA error. You have to be careful here because if you're too restrictive, you'll have many failing API calls, and a failed is a hard fail, so it affects your pass rate. Note that the alerts and webhooks and the Latency SLA are also available from the project menu up here. And that covers the API edit options.